What's up, nation? Today let's talk PlayStation 5 user interface and what to expect. Alright everyone, so we got a lot of exciting information to cover today. Sony has finally unveiled the user interface for the PlayStation 5 console. It went live this morning. It was 11 plus minute presentation. They went over a bunch of different features. I don't think they answered quite every question that fans had on their mind, but they did answer a lot of them, and I'm really excited to be able to talk through all those details today and kind of share my impressions and thoughts and opinions on what this looks like. The update probably couldn't have come at a better time, seeing as we just went through one of the most controversial system updates in Sony history as of yesterday when they released the 8.0 system update. Obviously, a lot of fans were very upset on how the party system worked and kind of some of the changes that they made, and then also just the hiccups that they ran through overall. So it is at least refreshing to see that we're headed somewhere bright and hopefully, a little bit easier to navigate in that party system in this new user interface. Now, that exact question was not answered, but I am going to share some opinions and theories on what I think we can expect to see whenever this UI does go live and we get the PlayStation 5s in hand. And then I'm also just going to break down the feature set of everything that they walked through today and really what that means at a gameplay level for us when we get this console in hand. So it's a really exciting presentation. I'm super pumped that Sony did finally put this out in a nice video package, and we're going to talk through some of the biggest takeaways that I had from the video and then what I think fans are going to be most excited about as we're walking into this new console generation. Before we do dive into all the details, guys, I want to quickly invite everybody to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you do enjoy the content today, and then make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest console news as it comes out. But with that, guys, let's dive into the details. So the first thing we saw right out of the event opening was the PlayStation background that we've seen teased to us before. We all thought we were going to get a glimpse of the UI at Sony's last event, and then they ended up just showing us that press PlayStation button, but not the actual startup screen. So we now have the screen that shows the avatars and where you can add in users and what your icons will look like and all of that. So that has fully been revealed. And then it was interesting because as opposed to them booting up from a cold boot just into the main where the console will normally turn on from, it actually went in straight to where you left off in a game, kind of highlighting that quick resume feature that they've been talking about. And it really seems like they're trying to switch to a card-based formula whenever you turn on your console, which I like. Your game is immediately booted up and it's right where you left off at, and then you have different cards that I guess are developer customizable. So based off what kind of studio produces these games, it may or may not be as in depth of what they showed here. They did start off with, of course, Sackboy, and then they had basically the ability to go into news about the games, about that game or different games. They had specific areas of the games and objectives that you could jump back into. So that was a really interesting thing. We have seen Sony's developers actually talk about that, saying that they're going to integrate the UI way more into actual gameplay sections, and we definitely saw that because there was actual specific objectives that they scrolled through that they showed how you can jump straight into that. Now, one thing I did want to point out is that I do think that because this is developer specific, I don't think that we can expect to necessarily see like the quick resume into a specific point in the game on all games. Like, I'd be really surprised if I boot up Demon's Souls and then it's going to take me back to the exact spot that I was, or maybe let me fast travel to a different bonfire from this menu. I don't know that it's going to go in that deep on all these games. This is obviously a first-party Sony game that they're showing off, so I'm sure that the jumping into specific objectives and stuff like that might be more tied to first-party titles. But it's really cool that developers now have that freedom to go ahead and lay out their games like that and kind of give players the option to jump back into specific parts of the game without having to even look at the initial boot up screen or the menu or anything like that. So I thought that was a really welcome addition, and I'm really excited to see what developers are going to do with that going forward. I also did like the fact that they were actually showing a list of different objectives on the side, and then it even said it went as far as to say how much time it might take to go through that objective. So they're almost becoming the game guide in the background in a way. And then they did do a quick boot up into one of those objectives, and you saw a real brief loading screen. And guys, the load time was about 1 second if you count it. I mean, it was about as quick as you could imagine, and it does just seem like speed is the theme of this generation. Not having to wait, not wasting time with switching between different parts of the game. I mean, they really just want eliminate load screens as a whole, and if there is a load screen, it's more like a transition screen because it's just a very quick pop-up and then it's gone. Now, the next thing that they kind of talked about and that I really want to know more about is there's actually guide videos in this game, so you can essentially, as opposed to having to go, to YouTube or wherever else you might look up, game help tips and stuff like that, if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, so they did say that's a requirement for this feature, you actually have the ability to see a developer-fed video of how to complete a specific task in the game. Now, again, this will be something that's up to the developers on how they include this, and I'll be curious to see if it's ever going to be community-driven at some point, or if developers are actually going to, have people complete these little mini videos for them and just do it that way, or if you can maybe upload videos from the community and then Sony approves them or something like that. So we'll see what this turns into down the line, but it was a really cool thing. And then they really did tie in the fact that you can do whatever you want with this screen. You can make it portable, as in picture-in-picture. You can put it somewhere else on the screen if you'd like. So I did think that was a nice addition. It saves you from going to any other platform. You're literally on Sony's platform the whole time, and even getting the hints and tips and tricks right then and there, which was cool to see. But again, I am curious to see which kind of games will actually support this, because another, third-party game may not have those videos supported, but that remains to be seen on what to expect going forward for that. And then we did get just a quick glimpse of the party system right after that, where it essentially shows you can join a party as soon as one of your friends creates one. Now, this is probably customizable in the settings, and we really didn't get a deep dive into what the party system's actually going to look like, but from what they did show, it looked like you got notified as soon as your friend that you're maybe in that party with went ahead and started a voice chat. So then you could join in and you could go ahead and join in that voice chat as well. Now, that seemed really convenient. I don't know anything as far as how easy it is to send the invites to new players if you're creating a new party, but it seems like now they kind of want parties to shift to more of like they are just your group of friends that you typically play games with. So whenever that group of friends is online, if they're going to chat, then it's just going to pop up on your screen right then and there. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to move to, and that's part of the reason for the update that we saw come out yesterday. So I do think that it needs some tweaking, especially on the PS4 front from where it's at today, but I think that they'll take that feedback and improve it. And if that is the case, where they still make it easy to have private chats and public chats, and maybe just fine tune a couple of the things that they're getting a lot of the negative feedback around, I think that we're going to see a much better party system here overall at the end of this thing. And then probably one of my favorite, maybe top two features, I would say, because there's one other feature I was super excited about that I'll tell you guys later in the video, but I love to see the live screen share and the fact that it could be put into picture-in-picture mode. I thought that was a huge win. I can't tell you how many times, I've watched other friends stream games online at the same time as I'm streaming, and I'm trying to look at two different monitors, and I might just want to see, them try a boss fight real quick. Souls games specifically, I'm going to have a great time with being able to share my live footage with them and then put it down in a little corner, and you can still see your whole screen. You can put it maybe somewhere in the top right or left corner where it's not really going to get in your way, and you can actually watch them live, and it's going to come in really handy for if there's a specific part you're stuck on or you want to watch them take on a boss fight. Just whatever the case is, you can handle all of that directly with friends in-house now, and I love the ability to do that. It did look like you could go full screen as well if you wanted to, but if you actually want to continue to play your game and watch them go through theirs, then you can absolutely do that now, and that's a real testament to the power of this console. I think we're really seeing what the thing is capable of with the fast SSD and the new processors of this generation. So I was really excited to see them include that, and definitely a win in my book for that feature. Now, past that, we did see some more things on the information cards, which actually was another big one, was that you can join in to a friend's party or their actual online multiplayer session straight from that quick screen menu that pops up when you hit the PlayStation button. So if somebody's playing in a online match that you want to then be a part of, it looked like you had the ability to just click on that interaction, and it takes you straight into the game where they're at in the party. So I think that's going to be really nice having this, guys, at a developer level. They're just launching this feature out of the gate, but imagine how far this can go. Developers can really slow down and fine tune how they do matchmaking now, and whenever they know that players are going to have the ability to jump straight into a match from their quick home menu, that's going to be a game changer, I think, when it comes to not having to sit in lobbies and manually invite everybody and wait on your friends buttons, I think is going to make things a lot more direct and a lot faster when it comes to playing games together. So again, a very welcome addition here. And then we did actually see the create button featured here as well. Now, it was just a brief pop-up and all they did was a screenshot. We did get confirmation that we can both take screenshots and record in 4K, which is awesome. Now, it did look like there was some other options, like maybe to the side of take a screenshot. They didn't show what they were, but it did look like you had like a screen record option just right there, so you could go ahead and start capturing your gameplay. And then there was another one to the left of the take a screenshot button that looked like it might have been like a frame rewind thing. So maybe if you wanted to see your last 30 seconds or 1 minute of gameplay and save it as a clip, it looked like you had really quick access to do that. And what I loved about it is it seemed like it was just so seamless. When they hit that button, the game's still going on and you were just able to quickly decide what you wanted to do with that bottom bar and then make it go away just as fast. So that was something that I'm glad they're confirmed the 4K support, and I'm glad that we have those quick options to toggle recordings, because as you know, we're more in an information shared age now. People like to share the cool moments that happen in games. I think it's going to be significantly easier to do that on this new console generation. Now next, after that, we finally got the reveal of the actual main display. If you did not have a game that you were, currently in and you chose not to use the quick resume feature, this is actually the screen at this point that you would see when you turn on your PS5 console and you go to your main home screen. So we got to see the official UI at this point. Now, one thing is that the icons are definitely smaller. I actually personally like it. I think when you're talking on bigger 4K displays, it's going to look really clean and not so cluttered. So I do think that I'm personally a fan of this design. I did see a lot of fans online mentioning how small those icons are, and it's not quite what they were expecting. In my book, it looks clean, it looks nice, and I think what I'm really excited to see is kind of what the themes will look like. And maybe you can adjust those icon sizes with different themes. I mean, I think we're going to have a lot of flexibility as the time goes on here, but I did like the clean design of it, and it seems very, very straightforward, very easy to navigate. And obviously we don't know all the details of it yet, but from what the initial impressions are for me, I think that the initial just default Sony PlayStation 5 theme looked great on the home UI. Now then, they did transition straight into this Explore tab, which I guess is just launching day one in the US, as they're trying to kind of it's basically like a trending page, if you will, for PlayStation 5 news and games and things in the community. And so I guess they're kind of piloting this in the US and seeing what to promote the most and what how it goes and how easy it is to connect with the fans this way. But this is something that's at launch date in the US, and then it sounds like it's coming out to the other regions past that, and they didn't specify when that might be. And then a huge win, and probably my second top feature out of everything we've talked about so far, is that the PlayStation Store is now natively baked into the user interface, so it is not a separate app anymore, and I just think that's fantastic. I think it's going to make it so much easier to grab your content, to see new DLC when it comes out, to see new information and updates about games, and then it just seems like it just flows right into the UI. I mean, it seems like it's really going to be a simple thing to decide to go purchase games. I did wish that they would have showed us way more than they did of the PlayStation Store, but obviously if it acts at all as fast as the rest of the system UI did, I think that we're going to have a fantastic experience on the PlayStation Store when we get to dive in there and see the full hands-on. So that was a big win in my book. I'm glad they brought the PlayStation Store straight into the system UI. And then they did show us the ability to access our info cards right off of the home menu by obviously pressing the PlayStation button, at which point you can go through and select any of those cards right from the home menu, as you'd expect to also, just like you can if you're in a game. But then in addition to that, what they demonstrated to this part is how you would share a screenshot with your party, and it did seem very seamless. And then a big thing for me that I'm so grateful for that we have this generation is a microphone that's built into your controller, so you don't have to worry about having a headset on or anything, and they have included voice dictation now. So providing it works as well as they're saying it will, maybe finally gone are the days of having to type in those lengthy passwords or lengthy game titles that you're searching for in the store, or even just sending messages back and forth in text form with friends. It just seems like it's going to be so much easier now that we have the ability to speak into our controllers and share our messages that way. So providing it's accurate, like I said, and I believe it will be at this point with where we're at with technology, I'm really excited to see that go ahead and be a feature out of the gate with this console as well. And then I don't know if everybody else enjoyed the enter rest mode animation as much as I did, but it just shows the polish that Sony put on everything. I mean, just the slow particles as you're moving out from from starting up to closing down. I think this UI looks beautiful. They obviously put a ton of work into it. I'm just super excited that this is the first version of what they're going to start to build on as we get into the PlayStation 5 launch. So I couldn't be happier after this presentation. I definitely think this UI is a win in my book, but I'd be curious to know your guys' opinions on it if you feel as strongly as I do on it. I'm definitely excited to get this thing in hand day one and mess around with it hands on. Now, they did say that they were going to be sharing further updates in the weeks to come, so stay tuned to the channel and stay tuned just to check back as far as if we do see new updates. I definitely will be covering them here because it is something that I think there's still a lot that's left unanswered at this point, and hopefully within the next few weeks we'll see a deeper dive into the PlayStation Store, maybe how to create parties, and then just different things that we didn't see them announce so far. And I would also like to know if you guys had any features that you're really wondering about that weren't covered here, so leave that in a comment down below as well. But yeah, guys, all in all, it's a win for me. I think it's a great UI, and I'm excited that we're getting this on November 12th and November 19th on the other places around the world. So good on Sony for this one. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I truly appreciate you guys sticking around till the end. I did just want to, at this point, invite everybody to leave me a comment. Let me know kind of what you were most excited about at the end of this presentation. Was there any new features that you weren't expecting that we got that stuck out to you that you're most excited about walking into this new PlayStation 5 launch now? Are you still really frustrated about the party system chat and all of those problems? So kind of let me know where you're at on that. I would love to get a back and forth conversation started with you all. And then I did just want to remind everybody one more time, if you haven't done so already, join Sunbro Nation today. Do so by subscribing below. Hit the like button on the video on the way out if you did enjoy the content today, and then make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming and console news. And then guys, just a quick side note for anybody who hasn't been able to secure a PS5 yet, please go ahead and check out my other videos, because I do have some ways and tips and tricks and tools and kind of different ways that you can kind of keep up to date on the stock levels, and then just really the best way to go find out which retailers have it without having to have 6 different browser tabs open. So check out those videos if you're still interested in trying to lock down a PlayStation 5 pre-order. But with that, guys, I am going to end the video here. You all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.